Hi, welcome back to Renovation School. So the flooring was just done. It's time to install my baseboard or a quarter round trim. I'm going to show you how I do this. I normally do it the easy way. I mostly don't even pull my tape measure unless I have to for very small areas. I'm going to explain how exactly I do that. Just watch me. To cut my quarter round or baseboard, I always use this miter saw. This is a Cobalt 7 1/4 inch. It's pretty easy and simple to move around and make small cuts like this. The procedure is exactly the same if you're installing baseboard trim or quarter rounds. It's the exact same way, just the sizes are different. If the baseboard trim is pretty wide, you can use a longer or bigger kind of a saw to make it easier for yourself, so you don't have to tilt the saw so many times. So this is how I do it. I put everything in front of me, all the material that I have to cut. Keep in mind, I'm not running around the room to make any measurements. So I put my quarter rounds in the saw and make 45-degree cuts. These are already cut, but I make it 45-degree cut on one end. I finish all of these after I cut them and put them behind the saw. Once this side is completely done, I made 45-degree cuts like that, like inside corners. I push all my material to one side. I push my material to the opposite side and turn my saw 45 degrees on the other side. Now I cut this and I just put them down and make my cuts. And make sure you always wear safety glasses making any cuts with any type of saw. Then I show you how exactly I lay them around the room and how I measure them and how I cut the rest. Just so you can get a better idea, this is how the trim looks. I made two 45-degree inside miter cuts on both ends of it. So I grabbed my quarter rounds and placed them around the room, just loosely. So this is how the layout on this room is. That's the main entrance door. You walk in. There's a closet on this corner, and just look at the way this room is designed. So you walk in, 100% the bed is going to be in this area right there. So for that reason, I started laying the quarter rounds this way. I put one piece here. It's not nailed yet. It's loose. It's sitting there. I put another piece there. Why did I do this? Why did I not come from that end? Reason why is because if I use the longer piece here, I may, depending on the size of the room, I may have a smaller piece here, but the bed will definitely cover that up, even if the client doesn't want to paint it. So on the other side of the room, I started from this corner and went right there. Again, when the bed is here and those baseboards are not painted, it still shows less imperfections. I use an 18 gauge Milwaukee nailer, and for the most part I use 2-inch 18 gauge nails, and they do an amazing job holding the quarter round or baseboard. But there's one thing that is extremely important, especially if you are working in 2-story houses, which I'm going to explain in a second. So before you start nailing your baseboard or quarter rounds, make sure you start walking around the outside of the rooms. Let's say I have a shower here. Note that. Let's say the shower is located from here to there or on this side of the wall. There are going to be plumbing going up and down. If there's a bathroom upstairs, there will be plumbing going this way. So when you're shooting your nails, you got to be extra careful not to use too long size of a nail in those specific area. Let's say there's a shower from that corner to here on the other side of the wall. You're going to use, let's say, 1 1/4 nails instead of 2 inches. And when you're shooting them, make sure you point it more toward the ground. And instead of going 45 degrees to the corner, make sure you tilt it up a little bit so they go through the subfloor and the flooring instead of shooting them inside the studs or something else, or your drywall. So in my case, there's nothing else around here. I know there's no bathroom or nothing behind any of these walls. I'm good to use my 2-inch nails. So this is how I lay them down. I'm going to nail these loose pieces that I just put in, and then I show you how I measure the rest of these and how I take care of the rest. Make sure you have your safety glasses on, it's extremely important. I'm going to push my cord around against that corner and start nailing. I'm going to hold this gun around 45 degrees, somewhere between the floor and the wall, around 45 degrees. And I continue putting my nails around every 12 inch or every foot. Okay, so now that my first piece is sitting in place, I grab my second piece. I'm going to push it against this wall. Line it up here and make a mark exactly where the end of the other piece is, the pieces I nailed down. I'm going to show you a close-up of how I mark this so I don't make a mistake cutting it. So I line it up, I make a mark exactly where that corner is, and then I make another mark like this. So at my miter saw, I'm going to cut it like that. I make sure at the miter saw that I'm not taking any margin from this side. Back at my miter saw, I'm going to place it. My miter saw has a laser. I'm going to show you a close-up of how I line it up with my cut. I make sure it sits nice and flush against the top and the bottom portion. I hold it tight with my finger. Look where exactly my blade is going to be, where exactly my cut is going to be. So if I make a cut, I'm not going to pass this. It's going to be a perfect fit. So there you go, it looks pretty nice and clean. As you can see, the seam looks pretty nice. I am going to nail it down, and following the same exact procedure, I'm going to finish up this whole entire room. After the room is done, I'm going to move to the closets. If you follow these steps, it's pretty easy and simple to do it. Basically, a room like this, it only takes me like 5 minutes at the very max. And then doing the closet is another like 1 or 2 minutes. So as far as the closets, I have to pull my tape measure. As you saw here, I didn't even use it. So because the closets and some hallway areas are going to be smaller, it's easier to actually pull the tape measure and measure it, make all your cuts, put the pieces together, and then nail it. I like to draw the shape of the closet on top of a piece of paper like this, and then I transfer all my measurements to it. So most closets are going to be rectangular shape. If that's the case, all your cuts are going to be 45 degrees because the overall angle on each corner is going to be 90 degrees. But here in this closet, I have 245 degrees as well. So I have to cut those angles to 22.5 degrees, which is going to be half of the 45 degrees. So I make sure that I mark those two angles so I don't make a mistake when I'm at my miter saw making those cuts. So the rest is going to be super simple. I make these cuts, I bring them down, I put them in the right spot, and then I nail them down. So it's going to be as easy and as simple as that. So there you have it, guys. This job is done. I hope you liked this video. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if this video was a help to you. There are going to be a lot of new videos coming in the very near future, so make sure you hit that notification button as well, so every time I release a new video you can see it first thing first. Thank you very much. Have a good one.